You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon.
Greetings, earthlings, and locally hated solicitors. We are back for another episode of Last Night's Coffee with your two favorite podcasters, Chuck and Jon. It is episode number 156, and we've got a lot to talk about. The world is going to hell in a handbasket right now. If you listen to TikTok and the news, we've got hurricanes, stock markets, wars, Olympic cheaters, possibly, maybe.
We got cheaters.
Well, they think that one boxer might be a man.
Oh, right.
So, I don't know.
Right.
What are you doing, Jon?
Man, I'm just, I'm here living my life. You know, what's interesting is you feel like the world's crumbling. I felt like we had nothing to talk about. I literally woke up this morning with not a thing to talk about. I was like, I guess we can speculate on Kamala's VP pick some more.
Oh, no, it's pretty much solid.
I mean, it seems like it, right? They, the mayor of Philadelphia,
The mayor,
whatever.
Kind of dumped that one out.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, dude.
Did you hear the commercial?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I mean, I think we talked about her picking Shapiro a couple of weeks ago anyway.
Yeah.
So
Now,
and it makes sense now that I know, like, if you're really picking your VP to try to win the state, if that's your strategy, then I get picking Pennsylvania because it has the most electoral votes out of those swing states that she could have picked from.
Right. And he's got like a 60-something% approval rating in that state.
Right.
But there's a lot of people speculating just because he is liked there don't mean that he'll win that state for her, because she is not liked in Pennsylvania.
Exactly. And okay, I challenge that with the fact that Kemp also tested at a 60-something% approval rating. Would you really say that 60% of Georgians are pro Kemp, though?
I guess it depends on what day of the week they polled on, because that joker he can have a 40-point swing in a week.
Yeah. But I think that's my issue with him, and I think that's a lot of people's issue with him, is that he is where, you know, I think Brian Kemp is like the definition of follow the money.
Definition of what?
Follow the money. Like,
yeah,
he's gonna promote whatever like, where's the money at? Where's, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's my money coming from? That's what I'm gonna put my name behind. He's very much follow the money, and because he's been so wishy-washy on some issues. Like, that's my thing with him. As a Georgian, that's my issue, and I think other Georgians would have the same issue. Like, brother, keep it consistent.
Trump was here over the weekend, and he lit him up pretty good in his.
What did he say?
Rally. I didn't watch any of it because I don't watch rallies. I think it's you know how if you try to sit down and watch a whole live concert, you know, it just ain't. It's like, I already like this band's music in this live concert. Like I tried to watch Lollapalooza again this weekend, and I just couldn't get into it. It's not that it was bad music on stage. It's just like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm not there. For one, I've been to music festivals before, and I hated it.
It's not the best experience.
No, I don't understand. I wasn't on drugs.
Yeah, if you're looking for comfort, like if comfort is a thing that you like to enjoy, I would not recommend a festival.
No, a music festival is the opposite of comfort.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, I need to tell everybody. Did you hear that?
Yeah, was that another snake falling on your roof?
No, I believe that was a big stick.
Oh.
I am outside on the porch today, getting as close to the hurricane as I possibly can from my house.
Are we really worried about this hurricane that's coming up? Is it a doomsday thing?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
One of my favorite towns in Florida, Steinhatchee, depending on what side of the bridge you're on. They took the direct hit of it this morning.
Okay.
And I was watching live video, and they had some storm surge, but it looks like the town's going to fare okay.
Well, how big a storm are we talking? Cat 4?
Cat 1.
Cat 1. Oh, small storm.
Cat 1 is the problem is the rain event. They're
Okay.
talking Savannah on up through Charleston areas getting 30 inches of rain.
Whoa.
Because there's not a system to push it out, so it's going to stall. Like
We got nothing coming in from the west, huh?
Yeah, I've got some sources in state government,
Okay.
and actually in the control center right now watching things.
Mm-hmm.
And their meteorologist is saying this is a 5,000 year rain event.
Whoa.
So if you are a young earther, that's Noah proportions. That's Noah rain, dude. If you're a young earther, that's Noah amount of rain. Because that was about 5,000 years ago, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, so I don't know if I'm supposed to go build an ark or what, you know.
That's so weird, man. That's so weird to think about. Young earthers, God bless them.
I teeter that line.
I do too.
Sometimes.
I do too. I won't lie. Like, and to me, it's not doctrinal. So like, I don't ever stand on one side or the other. Like, you know, there is no hard stance on it because to me, it doesn't matter doctrinally in my faith.
Right. Well, there's a time gap theory, and we could go all down all these roads, but that's not very fun. So we're gonna keep it light today. What'd you do this weekend?
Oh, man, I worked on cars, dude. I think I was texting you. You know, I had to put that alternator I've taken it out.
Yes.
I haven't put it back in. That's my plans for after the podcast. But that alternator is like a 6-hour job almost in a shop.
Yeah.
So they tell
Did
you
you
to
do-
pull the whole front end off this car with
You
the
did-
radiator, the condenser, all of
Yeah.
that stuff.
I was talking to Dad. Dad did one this year.
Okay. How did he do it?
Hung the compressor.
That's what I'm doing. I hung the compressor. I removed the belt tensioner and took all my power steering lines loose. And I'm like, just trying to get it. Yeah.
And he had to do it twice because it was a bad alternator out of the box.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Bummer. Don't put that hate on me.
But
yeah,
it's never like a GM alternator that's bad out of the box on a 6.0 or on an LS that mounts right there on top. That's never the bad alternators.
No, especially for me and you, because we can change those things in our sleep at this point. Like,
yes,
it is nothing to put an alternator on an LS motor for us. Like, literally, I think I could go through those motions in 10 minutes while sleeping.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Shout out Nightshifters.
Yeah. If you're joining us for the first time, me and John both work at night, and sometimes it's rough.
Yeah. To say I haven't banged my head once or twice with a wrench would be a lie.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've fallen asleep and just clocked myself. You know what I mean? It happens.
I've heard it. I witnessed it. That creep, you know.
It's amazing this face stays this beautiful.
The creeper is a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful and dangerous thing when you're working at that.
Anyway, so you worked on cars all weekend. Did you preach? Didn't you have to preach this weekend?
I did. I got to preach on marriage of all
How'd
things.
that go?
Not bad. Not bad. I'm I'm learning to keep it to the scripture.
Yeah.
Don't add too much of my nonsense to
Yeah.
it. Like, just really stick to the scripture and what does it say,
Did you
and
get
that's
some
benefiting me a
amens?
lot.
Did you get some
Yeah,
amens? Did
yeah,
you get
yeah.
some omes?
Well, let me tell you, the passage I had to preach on was "Wives, submit to your husbands. Husbands, love your wives."
That's always a
That,
fun one.
yeah. So when you define love and submission for people, sometimes they've never really heard the biblical definition of these things. We have a societal definition for submit and submission, and we have a societal definition for love, but those aren't necessarily biblical. And so
Right.
when you define it biblically for people, like 1 Corinthians 13 does, everybody knows that love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast, it does not envy, all of those things, right?
Yeah.
When you start defining it scripturally, even though people have heard it, they've never thought about it that way. And so, yeah, I mean, it went over well. Just let the word speak for itself. That's what I'm learning so far.
So yeah, well that's
My
good.
wife
That's
didn't
good.
hate me after preaching on it, so I have that going
Hey,
for me.
hey, as long as y'all got to ride home in the same car, that's all that matters.
She
Um,
was talking to me afterwards.
okay. You should you need to listen to what you're preaching.
Yeah, well, she knows. I mean, I'm the first to admit from the pulpit, I'm not a perfect
Yeah.
husband. I'm not a perfect person. Even though that's what the word says, to be like Jesus. Lord knows husbands can't always be like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We have
Because
faults.
we can't make that cut.
Uh-uh. We all fall short of that. All right, what'd you do this weekend, man?
Man, I took a long weekend, as you know. I went ahead and took Thursday night off, and Thursday I went and watched some concrete dry. That was kind of fun.
That's just as bad as watching grass grow. Why on earth would you watch concrete dry?
Well, I had one of my friends around the corner is building a new shop. It's I think 60 by 80.
Oh, wow.
I told him
Big
it
deal.
was too small. It's going to have four 12-foot doors on opposing side, so it'll have two on each side. So you'll have a nice cross
You can pull straight through.
pull straight through. You can open the doors and have a nice cross breeze.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Charlie's like, "Where's my corner going to be at?"
Where was this at?
It's at my friend Warren's just down the road, so it's
Oh,
not far
cool.
from the house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's it's always nice to see a shop being built like that.
Yeah, it makes me want to go build mine. I got to get one built. It's tough sharing a shop sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so I got to figure out what I want to build and how I want to build it and how cheap I can build it because I'm kind of a cheap person.
Sure. Sure. Do you
Um,
already know where you're going to put it?
I thought I did, and then Dad's like, "Why don't you put it right there?" I'm like, "You don't want to shop in your front yard." He goes, "The way the trees grow, I can't see it." I was like, "Okay."
Well,
So
there you
probably
go.
kind of like because like that cemetery that's beside his house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically that's on my property. That's the
Ah,
way the property line runs.
it's
So
kind
I
of
got that corner up that way. I could put it in
okay. So you're kind of putting it up the hill a little bit.
up the hill a little bit, so I don't have to worry about. I have a lot of water that comes across my direct backyard when it rains.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could get it up there. I got 7 acres. So
Yeah, I'm sure you can find a spot in 7 acres. Okay. I'm sure you can manage to find a spot for a shop in 7 acres.
yeah, yeah. I just got to wait till this fall now to walk because I'm scared of snakes. And
Oh, yeah.
go up there and look. But anyway, we did that Friday. Friday, what did we do Friday? Oh, Thursday night we watched Deadpool.
The new one?
No,
Oh,
we had to go back and catch up.
yeah. Are you preparing to go and watch the new one?
I want to go watch it at the movie theaters, but if I miss it, I'll be okay with that.
Right.
Um, I'm kind of I like Deadpool.
Yeah.
I was a late comer to Deadpool. Like it had been out for a while, and I'm like, man, why are these people liking this freaking comic book movie? And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, this dude is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, not your average Marvel movie.
If they remade Smokey and the Bandit, it would have to be him that played the bandit.
Really, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, because he's the only one that does the fourth wall break like Burt Reynolds does. Like he's
Ah,
the only one that pulls it off that clean.
yeah. Yeah.
You know.
It's that's an odd part of that movie, isn't it? Those movies, all of the Deadpool movies, is that
Yeah.
fourth wall break. Like, I don't know. I always find that so interesting when filmmakers are able to work that in seamlessly.
Yeah, and Burt Reynolds was good at being able to do that too. It
Yeah.
was natural to him. There's some actors when they try to do it that it's not natural.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Anyway, I did that.
No,
Let's see. What do I do Friday? Ate, I went and ate. Friday I didn't do much of nothing. We worked on
when did
got a
you guys
race
work
car
on the
ready.
car?
We ended up working on the car. It was so hot Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't start working on a race car till about 8:30 Friday night.
Oh wow, waited till late.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah. So we pulled a late night on that, and all we had to do was load it up Saturday morning. And
Yeah.
that was kind of nice because
Yeah.
Saturday went real easy. We went and
How did he
raced.
do out there?
He did good. We're still we're to the point now to where his driving's catching up to the point to where we can start adjusting the car a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We got the new shocks on there. They did good. He ended up taking some damage when a guy spun in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of caved the side in a little bit, but uh, I bet if I go up there today, they about got the panel straightened back up,
Wow.
and
And so,
all we got to
and you texted me last night. There was no chassis damage from that
yeah,
picture
no
you
chassis
sent me.
damage.
That's
Yeah,
pretty wild, man. It looked like a rough hit, just the way the panel dented up on you.
yeah.
But it
It
to manage to not damage the chassis, that's great.
well, that's why they design it with that big offset like that, and they just basically got a big empty void over there. And you put
Yeah.
one bar in to protect your header,
Yeah.
and it did its job.
Cool.
So
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Did he get to run the practice laps? He ran them all. He ran
yeah, he
everything.
ran everything. It was actually on Flow Racing this week, so I
No
can show
way.
you. I can show you a good video of his race
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be awesome,
professionally.
man.
Yeah. What else? So yeah, we did that. We celebrated Mom's birthday yesterday. Um,
Oh, big
her
deal.
birthday's actually tomorrow, Tuesday. So
Okay.
shout out, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday,
Um,
Mom. Mama C.
yep. And then Friday night we're going to go run at Penton, Alabama.
Okay, so you guys are going back to Penton.
Yeah.
What kind of race? What do we got going on? What's the
They
race
got a
over
big
there?
money race going on over there. It's like $2,026 to win or something like that. It's a 26 lap race. There's going to be some heavy hitters. There's a guy, his name's Austin Horton.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching him drive race cars. He runs super late models
Mm-hmm.
and big money hobby races. It's just like, dude, you're out here running a super and then you're going to come down here. But, it just makes us better.
Yeah, absolutely. Competition is good.
Yeah. I watched him lead all 50 laps of a race at Sonoma. Well, it was a 50 lap race. He led 30 of them, and then the right front wheel bearing locked up.
Oh, dang.
So
Dang. That's wild, man. So a lot of big money, a lot of big hitters coming out. What do you
yeah,
do at a small racetrack in that kind of situation when you get more cars enter this than you can really feel it. Do you do heats? Like, do they just break it up randomly into heats? How do they handle this situation? Or do they cut off registration at so many cars?
No, like this weekend at Sonoma, they had super late models were racing. The 602 Red Clay Series was racing, and both of those classes ended up with 40 cars.
Whoa. Okay.
Registered.
Okay.
So they run qualifying, and they take a certain number of cars off of qualifying. Then they take a certain number of cars off of B mains because they're trying to start, I think 23 is what they'll start at Sonoma, 23 or 24.
Okay.
So they're whittling it down to the best 24.
I got you. So they run 2 heats basically.
Basically, yeah.
And then weed that down to 24.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
And then they run the main.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
wow. So that's more wear and tear on your car.
Yeah. So if depending on how many, if all the hobby cars in the area show up for this race, which I feel like there's going to be a good bit of them there. If we make the show, we'll be doing good. We have had a good night if we make the show.
Sure. Because that's a lot of competition, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm excited, man. I love the fact that Charlie seems to be learning more every week. I love the fact that he is always working on the car. You know, he's always involved with that aspect of it.
Yeah, and he loves that track in Penton.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great showing over there when he went, right? So
yeah,
just a couple of weeks ago. I'm super excited for him, man. I love watching this kid develop, dude. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I done got to the point. I'm almost ready to quit worrying about getting the car tore up, and just be like, all right, let's go race. And if it gets broke, it gets broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's more work and it's more money, but it's kind of part of racing. It seems like to me.
Right. And yeah, man. So that was my weekend. And our Oxenford Racing report there.
Yeah.
So I need. We got an empty seat Friday in the truck, so we can take one more person with us, and we're trying to find somebody to take with us.
Hey, you hear that, Nightshifters? If you've got Chuck's phone number, reach out.
Yeah, reach out. You can ride with us. We're probably going to leave about 5 our time.
Okay. And this is Friday night?
Yeah.
Right on. Fill that seat up, Nightshifters.
Yeah. Especially a race like this, we need extra hands in case they have to get thrown.
Yeah. There you go. That's right. You never know what you're going to run into out there.
Yeah, in Alabama, man. It's like, dude, so Charlie went up to the stand. We pitted in a different spot this week. We pitted all the way over on turn 4 in the back, which means it was quicker. It was easier to walk over to the grandstands, but it was further away from everything else. But Charlie went up there to see his mom, up to the grandstands to see his mom. And this guy's like, he goes, man, I was at Penton last week. I seen you running. That was a good race. That was a good race. You did good. He said, that was one of my favorite finishes of the night. And Charlie's like, I don't know who this guy was. I don't know how he knows who I was.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
People are starting to recognize him, So
that's awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, you guys are starting to show up.
He's had this one kid that's been a fan following him since he ran Hot Shots. And
really?
He come over and had Charlie sign his checkered flag. And
that's cool.
And hung out. Charlie spent some time with him, talking to him. So, yeah, they had a good old time.
That's awesome, man. He's doing it, dude. He is doing it.
He's got the charisma, and he's got some driving ability. Now, if we can just find some money, we might be able to take him somewhere.
Yeah, the money's coming, man. If you guys are doing your part, I feel like the money will come.
Yeah. I dread the day that I have to buy a freaking super late model motor because I don't know where that money is going to come from. It ain't coming from my 401k if you look at the stock market today. I'll tell you that.
I heard that, dude. I heard that, man. We're We're in for a ride.
Man, the stock market's doing bad today. Evidently we're going to war with Iran.
And that's according to Lindsey Graham, you say?
Yeah, Lindsey Graham from South Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, who would have been good to play him in a movie was that guy that was on Will and Grace.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I was thinking like David Spade, but yeah.
No, you need a Southern gay actor to play Lindsey Graham. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan because he acts like he's conservative and he acts like all this stuff, but he won't help take care of he's not very friendly to our troops in the VA when they come back. He's part of the problem.
Sure.
So,
and he's not afraid to send him over there. It seems like he's not afraid to send him overseas.
Well, he ain't gonna shed his blood. He ain't gonna get hurt.
Right. That's the thing. While there's been all this underground talk about, getting the draft started back up, assigning, what are those numbers we all got in high school? Assigning those numbers to, what are the numbers called though? There's a specific number.
I don't know, draft number.
I can't remember what it's called, but they're talking about assigning those to women as well.
Social service number?
No, that's your Social Security. Maybe I don't remember. But I've heard talk about assigning those to women now. Yeah. Which is the only use for it is for the draft. Right. And so whoa.
And you know what? They want equal rights, so they might as well have to sign up for the draft too. Now, I'm not a fan of that because I've got draft age women. But I don't want to get mad today.
Let's take an ad break real quick and gather ourselves. Thanks for sticking with us through this ad break, guys. I'm here to tell you about one of our sponsors, Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. You can check her out at movingcoweta.com for all of your real estate needs in the metro Atlanta area. That's movingcoweta.com. Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. Now back to the show.
For some reason, when you search top, can you read that?
Yes. Toxic.
All right. You see what I searched?
You need to screenshot that and tag Pat McAfee on Instagram, dude. He would totally respond to that. And the fact that you're halfway through Britney Spears' Toxic right now, listening to the actual song as a 40-something-year-old dude. The whole thing is hilarious. That whole screenshot you have right now is hilarious.
So I searched Toxic, and for some reason, Pat McAfee come up.
It's hilarious, too.
Yeah, like...
The fact that Pat McAfee is the second result when you search the word toxic on Spotify is hilarious. It doesn't get much funnier. And you're posting it now to Instagram, right?
I'm posting it now to Instagram.
And you're going to tag Mr. McAfee in this.
It's a Pat McAfee show. Why are you the second search result when you search toxic on Spotify?
Well, Chuck, don't you know that he's toxic?
I guess so.
Don't you know that you're toxic?
The good years of Britney Spears. We talk about, we're getting older, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how she feels. Because she used to be it. We thought she was going to be like Madonna and be around for a long time.
I'm pretty sure Britney still thinks she's it.
Oh, you think so? Like you don't think she realized the pun she has become?
No,
She is not.
When she looks in the mirror, it's like, mirror, mirror on the wall. You know
And
what I'm
she's
saying?
like,
Yeah, yeah, dude. I think
she's still that Britney in her eyes.
She's
Every
completely.
morning when she gets up and she's figuring out what knife that she's gonna knife dance with.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think she's completely delusional. I really do.
This could be all right, who dies first? Uh Jimmy Carter or Britney?
Ooh. I think Britney's kind of on the road to being petrified. I think she'll be one of those like Willie Nelson characters or like
Oh, okay.
the Stones. You know
Yeah.
how they kind of do enough drugs to petrify themselves.
Yeah.
I think Britney's headed down that path.
Okay.
Dude.
Now we talked about death songs a few shows back. Would you be embarrassed to have Toxic playing if you was like wrecked dead on the side of the road and Toxic is playing on repeat? That would be that would be hilarious.
You're the one who was listening to it during the ad break. I was not.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But that would be kind of funny. I mean, if you could see the EMT walk up and your car's just sitting there just smoking, there's dead pieces of you laying around, and
Yeah,
don't you know that you're toxic?
it would be so good, dude. It
You
would
know
be so good.
the paramedics gonna dance a little bit.
They're at least going to have a groove. I've never thought about that. As a drummer, we should think about those things. Always listen to songs at a high BPM, like a high beats per measure, like to get your rescue workers all amped up, like a workout song. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, Toxic's a good workout song.
It's got a pretty decent rhythm to it. It's got a pretty high BPM.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty fast pace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, that's some of
you
her.
might be onto something.
I mean, I don't support her. I don't celebrate her whole catalog.
But what's almost the same BPM, I think, is Nickelback.
Yeah, they should do Toxic. They should cover Toxic. Dude, that would be one of the best. I mean, could you imagine that set?
Did you see Nickelback shout out to Ryan Reynolds?
No, I missed that.
For
They're
the
both
dead
from Canada.
Yeah. I cannot imagine. Like, imagine Nickelback doing all of Britney's greatest hits.
Oh, hit me, baby, one more time.
I just can't swim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just do like a Nickelback does Britney.
Yeah.
That's the name of the album.
Chad Kruger's voice. Yeah, Nickelback does Britney. And it's like them literally lined up. She's got her kitchen knives.
Yeah, she's standing there with the knives. She's fixing a knife fight, and they're just in a line. And that's the album cover. And then they do it in Vegas. It's a Vegas special. So while they're performing her songs, she's knife dancing in a cage.
Yes. They have to cage her.
Yes. And the cage swings out over the audience. So you don't know if you're going to get like knifed while she's knife dancing in this cage while Nickelback is playing their songs. And Pat McAfee is on the side calling it and standing up there in his freaking tank top like, yeah, did you see that?
They have to strap the knives. They have to literally like tie them onto her hands so that she doesn't throw them at people.
Right.
Yeah. Make them.
Well, it'll be a plexiglass cage. You won't be able to see the plexiglass because it'll be polished, nice and clean. It'll just be a metal cage, but she cannot seriously endanger anyone. But you don't know
MLB nets. MLB nets surrounding her.
Yes, yes. You don't know that, but And she might not know that. So she might, stab the freaking plexiglass.
She just thinks she's out there performing them, but it's actually Chad Kruger in the background with Nickelback.
Yes. She's like, why is my voice deeper?
I would like to hear some mashups from them, like, look at this photograph.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think it could work, man. I think it could work.
You should have we should have AI do that for us. I know we've got some AI enabled listeners.
I wouldn't mind Britney just, being Canadian too. Like, can't we just give her to Canada?
Well, she's already Cajun.
Oh, that's true.
And I think that's the problem. And I'm not hating on Cajun people, but Cajun people, they act different. She's normal. For a Cajun person, that's normal activities. But we have released this Cajun person out into the wilds of the world, and they're seeing Cajun people just, for real. This is just Cajun people with money. You know what? Here, I got it figured out.
Half French and half Gator with a bunch of money.
Yeah, and a hankering for crawfish.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. They're half alligator down there, or at least a third. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And a third French. And what's the other third?
Well,
Is the
Creole.
other third American? Do we give them that little?
There's some
little
Native
bit?
American in them. The Cajun people are, they're when you work with one, you know how they are.
I know.
I mean, you think about the one we work with.
Yeah, give her some money.
Give her some money and some fame.
It's Britney.
With that attitude.
That's Britney.
Right?
She's dancing with knives and anacondas and the whole nine, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we need. Britney Spears needs to quit chasing all these guys with money that she's, and her and Theo Vaughn need to get together.
It's a perfect match for him. It's a perfect match for him. I think if Britney started noodling, I think if we just put her in her natural habitat.
Could you imagine like a Britney noodling channel? There's already one girl that does it that noodles.
Right. Just put Britney in her natural habitat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take Britney out of context. Don't look at Britney when she's in her bedroom. Don't take Britney on social media. That's Britney out of context. You need to go see Britney in her natural habitat.
So like we see Britney, like, okay, you know how we all thought Harambe or any gorilla, any primate that's in captivity does weird primate things that we're like, okay, kind of like the beluga whales. You know how the beluga whales are when you go to the aquarium. They are ready to go.
Yeah.
You know that thing, and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe those belugas are doing that.
Sure.
Well, that's because they're in captivity.
Yep.
And we're seeing them and doing what they do in captivity. That's what we've got a Britney in captivity.
Yeah, we've got a caged Britney.
And if Britney was just down there in the swamp where she belongs, she wouldn't even stand out with her actions.
Right.
Because there's way more crazy people down there than Britney.
Well, Jordan Peterson brings up a really good point. Britney won that case against her dad and all that, right? And we thought that was like free Britney, right? We thought that was free Britney. But Jordan Peterson, you know who that is.
Yes.
He makes the argument that freedom can actually be our enemy. Because say I give you the game of freedom, This is his example. I give you the game of freedom. Let's play.
Let's play. What are we playing?
Bingo. Sometimes freedom can work against you. Sometimes you need the regulations. Sometimes you need the rules. Sometimes you need some sort, right? And so I think if we take freedom, Britney is Britney caged. What we need to do is zero in her focus on her natural habitat. We need to get rid of all the junk. Like, she's got too much freedom. I'm not saying put her in chains, but I'm saying put that girl where she belongs. Put her in the swamp.
Yeah, right. Put her in the swamp.
You compared Britney to Harambe.
Yes.
Okay. And I said put her in the swamp.
Yeah. All right. So I saw a TikTok. All right. Let's go in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a minute.
Okay, let's do it.
They talk about how they have to have the being in each. There's a being in each timeline that ties everything together.
Yeah.
Harambe was ours. And that's why ever since Harambe was shot.
Wow. So who do you blame, man? Do you blame the person who pulled the trigger? Do you blame the parent who let their kid fall down in the enclosure with Harambe? Do you blame Harambe?
I blame society.
You blame society. Yeah. Yeah. We certainly shouldn't demonize a gorilla for doing gorilla things.
No. And that's the whole point. We look at Britney for doing Britney things and talk about how crazy Britney is, and she's just being Britney.
Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't demonize Britney.
We have done a 20-minute diatribe about Britney, and we have totally thrown out the notes. There's chaos. Give me a conspiracy.
That's why people listen. That's why people listen, man.
Josh Shapiro is going to be the Kamala's running mate.
Kamala.
I need to know. I'm
thinking different about pronunciations for her name every time.
I want to make salads for lunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was something you wanted to talk about on air. Do you want input from the Nightshifters on this? Should I put this as a poll?
Well, I'm going to ask you this, and maybe you can answer my question. If I go to Golden Corral and I make a salad from their salad bar,
okay,
that's one of the best salads I'll ever eat.
Yeah, I'm following you.
If I go and buy the things to make that same salad at home, it tastes like dirt.
Wow. Okay.
Why?
Well, the ingredients obviously aren't going to be exactly the same.
It's lettuce, dude.
But all lettuce is not treated equally, dude.
But it's lettuce.
Have you ever grown lettuce?
No.
All right.
No. Not lettuce.
The devil's lettuce, maybe, but no, I'm not putting that on Chuck. No, but if you grow lettuce, you'll notice that even it matters so much as to when you harvest it. You can get different flavor profiles as far as when you harvest it. So and then there's Bibb lettuce, there's Boston lettuce, there's romaine lettuce, there's iceberg lettuce.
What lettuce you remember at Ruby Tuesday's salad bar?
Oh, how could you forget?
I mean, you could just go in there and get a salad bar.
How could you forget Ruby Tuesday's salad?
How do I get that salad? What lettuce is that?
I think their magic was to let it sit out overnight in the salad bar.
So my lettuce is too fresh?
I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine what sets their salads apart because I can't answer that question.
I'm going to the grocery store today. I got freaking chicken thawing out. I'm going to throw it on the trigger and cook me some chicken and make me a salad for work lunch.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, man.
I'm gonna be so jealous of that Traeger chicken. Is that what you've been eating? Is Traeger chicken?
No, I've been getting a bag of chicken.
Oh, okay.
It was like, I got some chicken. It's chicken thighs. You know, chicken thigh is better for you protein wise than the white meat.
Yeah, and
So,
to me, it tastes way better.
Yeah, and they're already deboned. So I'm gonna throw them on the Traeger for about 30 minutes and see what I come up with.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm gonna
Probably
be a little
load them up with some Cajun two-step.
You put that on a cracker, dude.
Put that on a cracker, dude. Hit me with a oh, we got to talk about the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Olympics are on.
Yep.
There's a lot of things we could talk about, but let's talk about the Turkish shooter.
Yeah.
This
Cold-blooded John Wick, brother.
This dude has killed people.
No doubt about it.
They say that he took up shooting after a divorce.
Yo, where's that ex-wife now?
I don't know, but I don't
TikTok
think
needs to dig.
He might have officially took up shooting after a divorce. But this dude, he shoots like something. It's like he's like out of Boondock Saints.
Right, ice in his veins.
He walked. I feel like he walked into the Turkish Olympic offices and said, "I am your shooter," and they said, "No, that guy is," and he said, "Cacao." He said, "I'm your shooter now."
Yeah.
And they said, "Yes, you are."
He's so stone cold, man. He is. He really is the Iceman. He really is.
The Iceman. And the freaking salt and pepper hair, just makes him look more intimidating for some reason.
Yeah, the stone face is what does it for me, man.
It's like he is shooting like someone who has lost everything. Very John Wick.
Yeah, exactly.
He is the John Wick of the Olympics. Somebody did something to this man's dog.
He's seeking revenge.
Yeah.
It's someone in the Olympic committee. He's just now worked his way up.
Yes. They're like, "Oh, you can shoot?" He's like, "Yeah, I can shoot."
Yeah.
So,
man.
All right.
That's good. But the U.S., I think, is ahead in the total medal count the last time I checked.
Probably.
They were not ahead, I don't think, in gold medals, but they were pretty close.
Look, I think we should take and have no wars and just settle everything 4 years in the Olympics. And whoever comes out with the best average medal count, they get to be in charge for 4 years. So they're the ones. And when I say be in charge, I'm like, they're not making laws for everybody, but like they get the high seat at the table.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, they have to negotiate all the world's they had to be the world's police like we end up having to be.
What would happen when, like, a year like this year, where we have a breakthrough country like France start climbing the ranks? You know what I mean? And
well, they would probably
all know about the fridge.
They would just give it all to the Nazis because French are cowards. They just want to eat their freaking bread and drink a little bit of wine and whatever Hitler wanted to do. They're just like, fine, whatever. You know,
march through, take whoever you want.
Yeah. You want to build something on our bit? Go ahead. Just don't mess with our wine.
The French.
You got conspiracy?
Yes, I do, man. Yes, I do. They both have to do kind of with the American government, of course. And they both kind of tie into the deep state a little bit. I was trying to make my mind up. I'm going to go with the Smithsonian. Okay. I'm going with the Smithsonian.
All right.
The conspiracy is that the Smithsonian is actively covering up ancient civilization evidence that has been found throughout America. Ancient advanced technologies have been discovered, out of place artifacts, anomalies, those types of things. And there's plenty of conspiracies out there about the Smithsonian confiscating these things, squashing the stories. Let me give you one specific one that I absolutely love, and it's about the ancient Egyptians in the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, you've heard this one, I'm sure. A lot of people have, right? Like,
but it's good to hear it again.
Yeah, there was I'm not going to remember all the details because this is obviously right off the top of my head. But in the exploring of the Americas, upon exploring the New World, there was an explorer who went down the Colorado River, right? That flows through the Grand Canyon, and he's exploring, he's looking for different things, he's looking for signs of life, anything. You never know what you're going to find out there, and he finds a cave, and when he enters this cave, it is an elaborate tunnel system is what he finds. Basically an elaborate underground city. He finds all sorts of ancient Egyptian artifacts, advanced metals. He finds a crypt full of hundreds of what look like Egyptian pharaohs. All the walls in this underground city were covered in hieroglyphics, the whole 9 yards, right? Like, unbelievable what this guy was finding. Gold upon gold upon gold artifacts, right? Stuff that we shouldn't have been able, supposedly we didn't have the technology to work with, but the Egyptians did, stuff like that. Right. What do you think, man? Do you think that's just one specific instance, but obviously there's more. I love that story of ancient Egyptians in the Grand Canyon. There are obviously there are spots in the Grand Canyon that we are not allowed to travel to, and that if you do travel to them, you will get blacked out helicopters circling you. There's documented cases of this. There's documented cases of finding what looks like rappelling areas, like concrete slabs on the ridge where it looks like people have been rappelling down. Now, as a society, America typically doesn't make things illegal for safety reasons. They allow skydiving, we allow rock climbing, we allow all of these things, but yet these areas of the Grand Canyon are supposedly shut off for our safety. So how do you feel about it? What's your take on all of that, where I kind of lay out a quick rundown of the scenario? What's your take? Do you think there's a conspiracy between governments and the Smithsonian, in particular, the Smithsonian Museum, to cover up these things?
I think they do cover up a lot of stuff, kind of like the Alaskan boneyard guy.
Yeah,
you know, where he's like, no, he's like, y'all need to come up here and research this. Well, those animals didn't exist up there. He goes, okay, then why am I finding their bones?
Right.
And their feathers.
Right.
And their meat.
Right.
You know,
and remember, he sent some bones down there to be analyzed. You remember that? And they got thrown out or something like that into the.
Well, it was the people that owned the property before him that did that.
Oh, they're the ones that sent the bones down there.
Yeah, and they dumped it in the East River, and then people went and found them after he was on Rogan.
Which is kind of the smoking gun, right? That's kind of your smoking gun right there.
That's your smoking gun.
The bones were found in the East River. These bones that the Smithsonian had. And what's wild is they admitted to disposing of them.
Yes. Now, I think we have forbidden stuff in America for the sake of having forbidden stuff in America.
Oh, so you don't think there's necessarily anything nefarious with the cover-up?
No, I think it's like there's a whole. Well, no, I'm talking about like at the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
There's probably, because the Grand Canyon is a vast canyon in the desert.
Huge.
And it's probably easier for them to say, ooh, you can't go here, just so they don't have to patrol it. And they
looking for signs of life or hikers that may have traveled out there.
And they're like, if you go in this area, we got a helicopter that we're going to send out there to tell you to leave it. We might as well paint it black just to make it seem more.
So you're not buying into the conspiracy that there is an evidence of advanced civilizations in the Grand Canyon.
Right.
You don't think there was? Actually, the explorer's name, it just came to me. It was G.E. Kincaid. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
I've read about. Now, there's also the conspiracy about Noah's Ark was made out of gopher wood. Well, gopher wood is a cypress derivative, and it's only found in South Georgia and North Florida, according to scientists now. So there's people that think that all the Bible stories might have taken place in the United States, and that ties into the Egyptians actually being in the Grand Canyon, and that all that out there is fake.
Well, okay. Let me ask you. Well, let me ask you something. You know, these young earthers, we were making fun of them earlier, but if you believe them, don't they believe that the earth was Pangea, and then during the flood is when the continents separated?
Yeah. Yeah, that is one of the young earthers' beliefs.
Okay.
Which that makes sense.
So in that case, wouldn't the Garden of Eden be closer, way closer to America than it is now, right? Like what we would think is where we think the Garden of Eden came from would be much closer to America. I'm not trying to put any sort of white people. I'm not trying to whitewash anything. I promise. Yeah. I don't think white people were the original people in the garden or some nonsense like that. I'm not trying to.
You don't think Adam was white with blonde hair?
I don't.
Just like Jesus was white with blonde hair?
I don't, man.
According to the
Catholics, really.
Catholics, I mean, like
it was their art, really, that has formed our image of what we see Jesus as now. The Catholic art depictions of Jesus. Yeah. Man, but so that's the conspiracy, man. That's the conspiracy. You think they're covering things up, but not necessarily this.
Right. I think this is just like, it's just easier to play a black helicopter. You know,
scare some people off and be done with it. You might be right.
That's like you know, a lot of civilian use Black Hawks are black.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
So, I mean,
makes sense.
You can't really go send an Army Green helicopter out there to go do it, because then that could get into some constitutionality type stuff of you're using soldiers against American people.
Sure. It could.
Yeah, you got to paint it something.
True.
Black shows up good in the desert.
Yeah. I want to believe this one. So I'm not.
Well, believe this one.
But I'm saying, like, my opinion would be swayed because I want to believe that there were weird civilization things going on here that we don't know about.
Right.
You know, that's just my natural.
I think there were, but I don't think that's that one. I don't think it's that one.
Ah, gotcha. Cool. Yeah.
All right,
well, send me a meme, dude. Let's move on from that one.
We got to get this thing wrapped up, dude. We've been going on forever.
I know. Oh, Lord, here we go. From the pastor this morning. As we gear up for football season, remember that Athens is in the Bible and Tuscaloosa isn't. And all God's people said, "Go Dogs."
Go Dogs! It is getting close, dude.
It is.
Me and Charlie's been playing the new college football video game all weekend.
Oh, sweet. You guys got it?
Yeah. And let me tell you a little thing about it.
Okay.
I'm not very good. I'm a button pusher.
Sure.
When I played these kind of video games. And Charlie is too, somewhat. He does learn, but they got everybody ranked. Georgia's ranked number 1 on the game.
Okay.
So if you play it on freshman, where you get the most input help from the computer, and say, like, I pick any other team other than Georgia, you get annihilated. Like, if you play Georgia versus Georgia, you're okay.
It's competitive.
It's competitive playing it on freshman mode. Like, dude, I played a whole quarter on defense without touching the controls and did better.
That's hilarious.
But
isn't that a crazy how adaptive games are now? You know?
Yeah, like I got more sacks doing that, just letting it play.
Yeah. Well, they're making it where anybody can play.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
So we played a game. We finally played a game. I think he was Alabama and I was Ohio State.
Okay.
And that was the most even game we played.
Cool. And is this NCAA 25?
Yeah, it's the new one.
Okay, 25.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if they did 24 or 25.
Dude, I played Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I played as Georgia against him in one game. All I had to do was just rah, get open, boom. I mean, I was wearing
right?
rah, so tired at the end of that game. It was because it was just rah.
Wear him out, dude.
And he was B. He was every play. He was pretty much B every time. So I'd just be like, B.
There you
go.
Nice.
And he's not even on the team now. He got kicked off.
It happens sometimes, man.
So, all right, y'all go check out the Eating Chambers YouTube channel.
That's right.
Right,
shout them out.
Check out our YouTube channel if you want to see our faces.
Yeah, if you want to watch the video show, we've got it up there on YouTube and Spotify.
And all the things. So, y'all have a good week.
Thanks for listening, Nightshifters. We appreciate it.